Yeah, you are all welcome to the city of Abeokuta. You are welcome to Abeokuta. We just got to Abeokuta this morning, as you are watching from your screen, and we are still at the latency period. For those of you that are watching this video from the part 1, this is the part 2. We are still at the latency period, and I told you this is the period between the inducement period and the fertilization period. The gap between this is what we call the latency period in a catfish farming inducement process. So we have still had that point now, and what is left for us now is to start our preparation for hatchery. And because we are just getting to the city of Abeokuta, and we need to first to know the site we are going to, understand what is on ground, and to see things ourselves. So I think we needed to put some things into places, so that is why we have to be here as early as possible, maybe at least 30 minutes before the incubating period, so that this can allow us to embark on some of the processes, some of the preparations for the incubating period. So, but the first thing to do is to acclimatize to the area. We need to bring out some of our materials we are going to use for the exercise, and at least in here we have about 8 or 9 kegs here. We have a lot of kegs here because in those kegs, one is the fishes we are going to stock. Yeah, the fishes we are going to stock, and the brood stocks we are going to use. That means the parent stock. For those of you who do not know, we also call this the spawner. So that is why you can see a volume of kegs available. All these we brought from Lagos, and the first thing to do is to get our kakaban done for the incubation. That means kakaban that is the net that we are going to use for the spawning process, and this has to be sterilized and has to be mounted into the incubators. So this, because of time, and we need to start rushing things, as you can see on the video. So we are trying to produce our floating kakaban. Floating kakaban has a lot of advantage in the spawning process, because one, these automatically floats on the water and has to be suspended. Note, yeah, it has to be suspended a little, so that you can access the net when you are about to lift the net, when the fryer started coming out. So it makes things a little bit easier for managing your incubator, not to allow too much of eggs to split out from the net. Yeah. And again, this is about time to put our net, and note, if you can see the sizes of the net, you need to know the sizes of the net you are using. It is advisable to use the hatchery net. We have the hatchery net, which is popular around. People are selling it around. You can get it where they sell the aluminium. This net is quite a little bit different from the net you can get from the sawmillers. Those are the people selling building materials. Yeah, so it's a little bit scarce because of the sizes of the holes. So why is the sizes of the holes very important? The sizes of the holes are very important because eggs have different sizes. Eggs have different sizes, yes, depending on the spawner. Some eggs are very small in sizes that if you are not careful, most of them, that means almost about 30 to 40% of them will enter into the incubator, and this conveniently can cause what we call pollution. And everybody knows what pollution is. This will rip off automatically all what you've worked for, or what you have spent for. So that is about it about our Kakaban. That is all thing about Kakaban. And note, before we go, make sure that you subscribe to this channel. Make sure that you click on the like button. Make sure that you click on the notification button. And for those of you on our Facebook page, make sure that you follow. Make sure that you share, make sure that you like and leave your comment. And those of you on Twitter, make sure that you follow. Make sure that you tweeted it back. You tweeted it. Make sure that you retweet. And for those of you on most of our social media, make sure that you do so as well. For those of you on our Instagram, make sure that you follow, share, and like. Thank you so much, and make sure that you do that now before we go on. So the next thing to do is to prepare the pond that we are stocking, because we don't want to leave the fishes that is being brought to stay in the isolated keg for a very long time, because this may shock them, and if you are not careful, you are going to have lot of mortalities. So but what you do is that, as a professional, when you get to a site, you need to look at the way things are done. Yours is to correct them how things should be done. It is very, very important to note that. So what we are trying to do is that we are trying to perforate the pipe, because the pipe that we met in the pond is very, very small, and this may waste all the fishes when the water is being overflow. So we need to make another pipe, a longer pipe, to standardize the flow through of the water, which you are watching at present. So that is what we are keen. So as a professional, as a successful Asha, or a successful cartridge farmer, yours is to use most of your IQ. I normally tell you this in most of my videos, that any successful farmer must be working perfectly with his IQ. It is very, very important to do things right, and it is very important to take your time to do the best than you're rushing and you start fumbling. So all things has to be put in place, all protocols have to be observed, and everything has to be on their own status quo. So this will conveniently give you that retention of confidence in what you are doing. So after we might have checked the water flow, check the inlet and the outlet before we stock the pond. So the other thing we have to do is, the water we are putting the fishes has to be tested. It has to be tested. And what do you need to test in the water? You will need to test one. You need to test for the pH. You need to test for the alkalinity. You need to test for the iron. You need to test for the hardiness. you need to test check out for the turbidity of the water, and you test for the TDS. So or else you are going for other comprehensive test analysis. So if you are not going for that, these are important, because all the factors can still be managed. They can still be managed, but most of these factors I mentioned seems very difficult to manage, and this will automatically give you what we call a very poor result. And I don't think you might have spent so much and you try to experience a very poor result. So testing the water, we try to observe some things. A lot of things have to be adjusted and a little bit corrected, and I think if you can't finish with your correction, then you need to advise. Yeah, very good. It is good to advise. It is very, very good to advise, to tell what to do in your next hatchery or in your net process, because this will allow you to manage your farm perfectly. So doing that, we need to go alongside to check the water in the incubator. This is the incubator, so we have to check the water from the incubator. One, we have to check for the inlet, how the water flow will be coming from the inlet, and the outlet, how to control the outlet. Controlling the outlet, you have to check the water, the pipes that is taking out the water from the outlet basin, so that you can see that there will not be blockage when you started running your water. And again, if you are in an isolated hatchery room, you need to check for the thermometer, the temperature of the room, to know if it is not too choky, because a lot of people makes a lot of mistakes when you cover up your hatchery. If you cover them up, this may automatically affect sometime, because the fishes may be suffocated when there's no enough oxygen in the room. The atmosphere does not condone much oxygen. So all this has to be checked before you embark on the hatchery. And I said something earlier that it is very good for a professional to visit your farm after visiting, so that you can be corrected, you can be advised, on what to do, and the advice will help a lot. I said that too. Yeah, and from this, what we are seeing here, we are using what we call the solar pump, and so water rush here 24/7, and so we started filling up the pond. And all the fishes are in the pond, and they are doing well and healthy. As you can see from the screen, they are doing very, very great and very, very good. So after you might have stocked, the next thing to do is how to transfer the fishes. You need to transfer the fishes in 2 weeks, depending on the sizes of pond you are using. So this will be well explanatory from my next video, as you'll be watching in the part 3. And once again, my name still remain Odutola Isa Abiodun DTM, and you are watching Catfish Solution, please, and the Academy. Make sure once again that you subscribe to this YouTube channel. Make sure that you follow us on Instagram. Make sure that you follow us on Facebook. Make sure that you follow us on every of our social media pages, and we have a lot of them. And make sure that you share and like. And again, the next step we are doing is what we call, as a hatcher and a breeder and a stocker, you will need what we call the counting board. We have what we call the counting table. We have what we call the counting board. So the difference between the counting table and the counting board is that the counting table comes as a table, while it's a little bit stagnant, while the counting board can be moved. They are movable anywhere you want to go, and you can place them on any platform to do your counting, sorting and grading depending. And for what you are watching from the screen, I introduce these waterproof counting table from my video long time ago, and I noticed a lot of people, a lot of farms have been imitating, and I've been doing it. And the advantageous part of this is that, one, it's rainproof, it's waterproof. You can place it outside your pond. You can use it as a counting table. When rain falls, you are 100% sure that it will not spoil. This safe and sound longer than the wooden counting board or counting table. Yeah, for those of you who will need something of such, if you can produce it yourself, you can as well contact me, and I will automatically do it for you on a very good cost, depending on your location. Yeah, depending on your location. So you are still watching Catfish Solution Place, where we give you in-depth information about catfish farming. As we are still at the latency period, that means the preparation for the incubating period. And make sure that you watch the part 3, where we'll be starting our incubation.